I'm unaware of anything that's going on. So if you see something that Team Meat or, Super Meat Boy related, just know that I don't even know. You probably know more than me. I can't answer any more questions than the questions I'm answering. So all your other Team Meat related questions, I have to say that we are no longer working together, and that's it. But I can obviously answer simple questions like, no, I didn't play Super Meat Boy Forever, and I have no opinion on it because I don't know how it plays. How did I get the idea of the Keeper ARG? Well, I just wanted to do an ARG, and then ARGs are way easier than you think. You just have a destination and you go backwards. And you just piece it all together. It was really easy to make, really fun to make, and a little dangerous, a little spicy, a little exciting. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And once there were hundreds of people actively playing the ARG, and they had a dedicated chat and everything, and people were syncing up, there was some stuff like people like, should we break into this building that's close to our destination because it looks similar, like the website has some imagery that's like Isaac, so that means that we should go in here, and everybody's like, don't go anywhere. It was kind of scary. And when they finally found the Keeper, it was like in the middle of the night or early morning, so everybody was staying up really late, and Tyrone actually had to go out with one of the employees, and they sat in their car watching to make sure that they didn't break in it or do anything illegal, because we had to oversee it. So there was responsibilities that I didn't realize were kind of risky. Or even sending people out on this big train trestle in Santa Cruz, where I had hid a bunch of for those of you who don't know, I hid these missing posters on the bridge, and I pushed people towards it, and I jammed the missing posters everywhere. And I'm thinking back, it's like, oh shit, people could have hurt themselves or fallen off this trestle trying to get these things, So it was a little stressful, a little dangerous. If I ever do something like that again, it'll definitely be a little more thought out when it comes to the dangers that I could be putting people in. But yeah, it was cool. I haven't played I can't pronounce it. I've heard somebody say it once. Balatro. But I know that everybody loves it, and it looks like a game I'd like. I just haven't had time to play much of anything. Do I have a favorite cat in Megenics? It's kind of weird. You'd think at this point I would have names of cats kind of burned into my brain, but you go through so many cats that the names don't stick for some reason. But yeah, I have lots of very cool playthroughs that are always So for those of you who don't understand, Megenics is a really deep, randomly generated turn-based strategy game, which there are shitloads of classes of cats. Each of these classes of cats has shitloads of abilities that are all unique, shitloads of passive abilities that are all unique, and there's interplay between not only the archetypes that you draft into in the game per class, but also between the classes. So, I mean, example of the other night, there's an ability called Copycat, and Copycat is a colorless ability, so it's an ability that any cat can have. It's not that good of an ability, but what it does is it copies the previous cat's last used ability. This is spoilery, so bear with me. I had a cat that could, we'll say he had lycanthropy. He could turn himself into a werecat. And the ability that he had that turned himself into a werecat was cool for him, but the thing is his stats were kind of terrible when it came to being a werecat because it's close range combat. But then I had another cat that had copycat, which was very strong, and he was able to copy the werecat ability. So basically, I had like a shitload of werewolves that were just destroying everything. And I can't explain why unless I give you some spoilers. But there's a lot of really cool stuff that happens in the game that completely surprises me every time I play. And I've been playing this game for years. I've got like 1,000 hours in this game, and I'm just playing like the early game stuff still just to test. Every day I'll play like a run or two, and it's still surprising. It's still like, oh my God, did you realize that if you do this, then this happens? And I mean, don't even get me started on like the legacy aspect of the game where you can actually multi-class by breeding your cats. So like if you bring home a maxed out tank and breed it with another cat, the kitten might have a tank ability to start with, like a really strong tank ability. And then you can class it as a fighter, and then you got a fighter tank. I don't watch anime. If you're telling me about anything anime, I don't fucking know what the hell you're talking about. Who's my fave guy? Where? Have my kids played my games? My oldest daughter has played Meat Boy briefly when she was younger. She's not very interested in video games yet. She's still in like iPad game mode. She'll play some arcade games like beat 'em ups and stuff on our main arcade in the garage. But she's not big on video games. She was getting into Pokemon trading card game, and she's into Pokemon, period. That's the one game she's played. She played some Pokemon, and she's been playing Pokemon Snap. How long did it take me to learn how to develop games? I mean, I'm actively still learning how to develop games. It'll take you about 10 years to get really good at something. That kind of goes with anything. You have to be doing it every day. You have to enjoy doing it, so you do it a lot. And if you do it for 10 years, you can kind of master it. And once you master it, then you have the chance of hopefully making some cool stuff or making a career out of it. Why cats? Eugenics? Why cats? So the reason why it's cats, because originally the concept of eugenics came at a time when we had 4 cats. And they were cats from cat breeders. We had some freaky cats. So we had Guppy, who was still alive at the time, who was a stray. We had Moxie, who was another stray, a black cat, just solid black cat. And then we had Cricket and Tammy, which were Sphinx cats, and they were purebred. And we were dealing with breeders, and over the years we dealt with quite a few different breeders. And I had, I guess you could say, a moral confliction when it came to buying cats from breeders, because we wanted these cool looking cats, but then you're dealing with some questionable selective breeding. We've had situations where we bid on cats that are like, or put down on cats that were really cool, and then the cat died because they were trying to breed this cat's legs to be half the size, and also a Sphinx cat, and they have heart conditions and all this other stuff. So basically, the moral conundrum of like, wait, why are we doing this, was interesting enough to me to want to explore it in game form. It felt darkly amusing, and that's where Mewgenics came from, which is eugenics with Mew. And it kind of went with the whole, poking fun at the idea of us being crazy cat people and hoarding cats and cats running our life and blah, blah, blah. And then as time passed and we had children, the game became more about a legacy, like leaving something for the next generation. It kind of became about making the best of a bad situation when it comes to genetics, knowing that there's always like a silver lining to every downside genetically. what you pass down to your children. Those things all became very interesting to me. So when we jump back in to development on this thing, it had the original inspiration of cat hoarding and cat breeding, and then all the stuff from my real life from having children also came in, thinking about where I'm going to be in the future, what I'm going to leave for my children, and where that'll get them in the future. What I've left through my genes to them, what they have inherited from me, and what I've inherited from my father. So Megenics is about that. I gotta slow you guys down. You can buy 4 Souls at 4souls.com, I think, right? If you just Google Maestro Media, that's like the official Isaac page, and I believe that we have some copies left. We're going to be doing a second printing soon, so it'll be available again. Thoughts on Obama? Why is that a thing right now? I don't really have much of an opinion on Obama. He wasn't extremely old. That's a bonus, right? It would be really nice to not have extremely old people that represent your country. I don't know where you guys are from, but having really, really fucking old people represent your country is weird. That's about as political as I'm going to get. I don't want to vote. I stopped voting right out. I voted for Obama. That was like the first Obama. That was like the last time I voted, and I've given up on American politics. It's a fucking joke. Everyone's a goddamn joke. I'm not even going to look. This whole place is just going to burn down to the ground. It's terrible. No options. I got excited once about this guy named Andrew Yang. I thought, oh, there's hope. There's no hope. There's no way. There's no way. It's going to be old people for forever. Old people I don't like. Anywho, you guys know. I don't think there's going to be any new characters in the Binding of Isaac anytime soon, if ever. Happy birthday, Grimbloth wacky fella. Happy birthday. I can't read that. I have dyslexia. There you go. I've already answered the opinions on Forever. Why are we there? I never played Pizza Tower, and I know I should have. It's a tragedy. I don't have like a lot of time to play video games for some reason. Like I say that as I'm wasting my fucking life on TikTok. I play Magic. I play Megenics. I play board games on the weekends with my friends. And that's about it. Can I name every Isaac item off the top of my head? No, I can't. What happened to Repentance Online Co-op? It is still actively being tested behind the scenes. I don't know if it'll go back into public beta, but I know it will eventually come out officially in its final form by November, the anniversary, 10-year anniversary of Rebirth. I'm going to say happy birthday to Sebastian. Hope you are making good life choices. What's my opinion on The Simpsons? I'm actively watching The Simpsons. And my opinion is I love it up to season 8 or 9, and then I don't love it anymore. And I just watch the first 8 or 9 seasons over and over again with my family. And it's always great because it's one of the greatest shows that has ever been made. Only those seasons, though. How do I feel about AI art? I don't feel any way about AI art. I think it's an interesting toy. I think you could use it in some situations where you would be using clip art or, stock photos. I think people use it for stock photos. I know that like Terraforming Mars, people were upset because they were like, we're going to use AI art. And it's like, did you not see the terrible art that was in Terraforming Mars before? It's either stock photography or like really badly altered Photoshop version of stock photography. Why do you care? No one's really losing a job. I don't know. I don't care. It's not something I'm worried about. You've never watched The Simpsons. How do you begin? Well, man, I would just begin on season 2 or 3. Season 1 is a little rough. The writing is okay, but the animation is kind of terrible. Season 2, it gets better, and it's some great writing. But season 3, then it hits a stride, and 3 to 8, you can comfortably glide through it and enjoy yourself because it's a very, very good show. Favorite season 5? Yeah, I mean, I would say in the middle, the monorail. When Conan O'Brien was writing, season 4. That's what I'm actually watching now. I think season 4 and 5 are some of the best. Just quality stuff. If I ever do a warp zone again, would you ever represent franchises that were already in? If I ever do Warp Zone, would you ever represent franchises that were already in? Are you asking me if I would bring back past Warp Zones again? And make new cards based off of the same IPs? Yeah, sure. Why not? Are there any secrets or Easter eggs that have not been discovered? No. Yeah, I remember when I went into our key stream. That's the funny thing about TikTok is people just recommend different streamers and stuff to me. Some of them play Isaac and some of them don't. I'll just pop in, say hello, even if they aren't playing Isaac, and I'll ask them if they play Isaac. Because usually it's a yes because the feed is usually giving me people who play Isaac. I don't know who this person that you guys are asking me about is. Is this the anime thing? I don't know who Akira something or other is. Can you tell me who he is? Or he? I'm assuming he. Dragon Ball Z creator. I'm not a Dragon Ball Z fan. Outside of the firing my laser situation. So no, I don't. I never really watched Dragon Ball Z. I grew up with a lot of pretty big fucking anime nerds. Two of my closest friends were giant anime nerds, some of the biggest in the school. And that was the one thing I did not like about them. I was forced to watch lots of like 90s anime, 80s and 90s anime. So I saw some shit that I didn't care for. I like the really over-the-top stuff. I mean, I was a fan of Akira or Ninja Scroll, Overfiend, so, all that good stuff. I don't do the narrator's voice. That's Matthias. I listen to a lot of music, and it does inspire my work a lot. It's hard to say, I listen to so much music so often. It's hard to say, like, okay, what? Well, right now I'm listening to a lot of the Breeders again. I like Futurama just fine, but it's not The Simpsons, that's for sure. It's cute. The writing is good, but the character development isn't as good as The Simpsons. And it's not as relatable, I guess. Simpsons feels cozy. There's something about it. It feels really nice. I'm not a big Rick and Morty fan, no. How'd I pick the name Isaac? I'm going to blow your fucking mind when I tell you that The Binding of Isaac is actually a story in the Bible called The Binding of Isaac. It's the same story. It's not an original idea. It was written a long time ago by some dudes. It's the same story. And the kid who's being told to be sacrificed, his name is Isaac. And the passage is called The Binding of Isaac. So, I didn't even write it. It's called plagiarism. I just coast off of other people's work. They get it started for me, they get it warmed up. I take it where it needs to go. How did I get the idea of astrology in The Binding of Isaac? So growing up in a Catholic household, and my father was extremely Christian, and his family was extremely Christian, there was a great deal of dogma being thrown around, and there was a lot of talks on, like, what's evil and what's not. And as a kid, everything I liked was evil. Everything I thought was interesting was evil. And one of the things that I thought was interesting was astrology. The tarot, astrology, palm reader type stuff, all that stuff was too witchy for my family, and it was considered evil, which is kind of interesting too, because on the Christian side, so my grandmother's Mexican Catholic, and it got pretty witchy with her. There was some witchy stuff, there was a blend of like Santeria in with her Catholicism, which I thought was pretty cool. And there's a lot of references to that, like Anima Sola and a lot of other references that are escaping me at the moment. So yeah, the astrology stuff was simply there because it's pagan. And pagan is evil. And I thought it was cool. Will I make a new platformer eventually? Yeah. I'm sure I will make a new platformer eventually. Okay, I'm gonna try to do this. I'm doing birthday stuff. Happy birthday, Alfie. I sure hope you're having a good birthday, Alfie. And happy birthday. I hope you're. I heard you're turning 13. Good for you. Happy birthday. Do I believe in astrology? No, I don't believe in anything. You can pick anything in The Binding of Isaac. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in any of it. I don't believe in any of it. Pick it, and I don't believe it. But I still find it interesting. I still find all of that stuff interesting. I find astrology as interesting as Christianity. I find Christianity a little more interesting, but they're basically the same thing. They're basically the same thing. Yeah, I find the tarot interesting as all that other shit. But do I believe in it? Of course not. I think we're all adults here. We know it's not real. It's just fun for funsies. I don't even believe in blood beams. Oh, I'm trying to reach this without tumbling over. Oh, there's water. would I ever make an Isaac comic? I have. I wrote an Isaac chick tract. It was sold as a bundle with Repentance physical edition. Do you want to see it? I didn't draw it though. Okay, so remember my Isaac is a tomb. My Isaac. Oh my God. What? See what you've done to me? My office is a tomb, so I'm going to lose a little bit of a connection in here in order to show you this. Let me turn it around. Sorry. So if we go in here, this is Switch version of Repentance. These came with this little thingy here, and inside was a tract. So these are the ultra rare Japanese version. So there are 4 versions. There's the red version, which is for Switch, blue version, which is for PlayStation, green version, which is for Xbox, white version is for Japan. And so this is in Japanese, but it's a little retelling of the Binding of Isaac as a chick tract. This is a religious tract. Tell me if I'm cutting out and I'll go back inside. And it's super cool. And I got to write it. Kind of. So yeah, you can see Isaac's mom's real face. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, it's cool. I got a few of them. Now they're based off of this. These are Bible tracts. These are religious tracts that I collected over the years. Jack Chick made these. Dark Dungeon. Look that up. But these are one of many things that I collect. I could be Isaac's dad. I mean, I'm quite proud of... I'm going to turn off some lights. I'm going to get ready to go to bed. I'm quite proud of the Binding of Isaac. I'm very proud of... I'm proud of the ones that you like, you know? I'm proud of Super Meat Boy. I'm proud of The End Is Nigh. I'm proud of the Binding of Isaac. I'm very proud that I've been doing on Megenics. I think Megenics will end up being my best game, at least in my opinion. I think it kind of already is. It's exceeding my expectations, which is very difficult to do because my expectations for my work are quite high. And I'm pretty proud of some of my old games. I don't know how many of you played Ether and Time Fuck, but I'm pretty proud of those games. Those are some of my best from back in the day. Walk with me. You guys seen Azazel? That thing is as big as me. It's hard to tell though. Look at him. His eyes glow red, but I don't have batteries in him right now. But he hangs in the corner of my kitchen table area. Bear with me here. Got the back of the dead meme. My dirty, just give me a sec. Why weren't the Badlands games included in the basement collection? There's a reason. So the reason why they weren't included is because I did not have the FLAs for them. All of the games in the basement collection were updated, and I couldn't update those games. So I chose to just kind of leave them off because they were the least playable and, you know, the least desirable of all the games that I had made, and they were pretty old. They're classic, yes, but I put the SWF files in the folders, in the game files, so you could kind of just dig them up and play them if you felt like doing that. I'm gonna go to the garage for a few minutes. Why doesn't it let me see the time?
Door.
Yep. Well, 15 more minutes. With I like Remand. I am an old dude that would teach kids in a nice way. It's true. It's true. I wish I had a way to mount this fucking phone so I could play some pinball. You would be forced to watch me play terribly. Oh, is it glitching out? Yeah, my Wi-Fi is going to be switching over to upstairs. So, good luck. Do I listen to The Cure? Of course I listen to The Cure. Forest is my favorite Cure song. Tell me when I'm even and out. You like my ET? You guys want a tour of this? I don't know how many of you have seen this room, but there you go. This is the garage. Decided that I'm not going to park anything in here. Getting some stuff ready here. There's some
up on me early.
an actress that I really like. Her son is a fan, and she donated her voice for eugenics. I won't say who she is, but she's a scream queen from the 80s. And so I'm doing a little care package to send to her son. And I think this one is going to someone named Christine. And this behind here is a topper that I'm going to have installed in a few weeks for Twilight Zone, which will look really cool up on top of the pinball machine. This is a Dance Dance Revolution machine from the Boardwalk. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? I start working after I eat my breakfast, usually at about 9. So I get up around 7:30, help get my youngest daughter ready for school. I take her to school. When I get back home, I make breakfast, I eat breakfast, watch The Simpsons, and then I go to work closer to 9, between 8:30 and 9. And then I work until lunch. And then I usually stop, and then I'll usually be working around now. So I'll work for another couple hours after 8 to 10. So when I can. This is Theater of Magic. This is possibly my favorite pinball machine now. It was Twilight Zone for quite a long time, but now Theater is becoming my favorite. It just feels really nice. This actually came from Brian Austin Green's house. You might know his wife her name is Megan Fox, his ex-wife. This was his old pinball machine that he had to sell, or I wouldn't say he had to sell. It was sold with his collection of pinball machines when him and Megan Fox got a divorce. So this thing is all chromed out. It's really spiffy. It's got a lot of cool bells and whistles. And that's who owned that. It's not real gold, but if you would believe it, so like this thing here, just this faceplate is like $800. I didn't pay for it. Brian Austin Green did. I'm not going that deep on, well, no, that said, I just paid a couple $1,000s for that topper, but maybe I'm just as bad. This is Whitewater. This doesn't come from anybody special, but it is a special pin and it's rare. And I love it. We've got Cactus Canyon Remake. This is a really good machine as well. But my wife has basically done everything that you can do on it, and her score is so high that I can't come anywhere close. So I don't play it as much anymore. It's got a really cool topper though. I'll probably eventually not trade this out completely because it's a well-liked pin, but I will probably trade it for to borrow another pin. Here's Twilight Zone. Right, this is, it fluctuates between my favorite pin and my second favorite pin. This is a really, really good pinball machine. This is a wide body, which means it's extra wide. Extra play field here. It's a very, very, very heavy pin. Very fun. Highly recommend you play this if you see it. Any of the pins that I have in here are all really good. So if you see these in the wild, you should be playing them. I don't know how many people here even play pinball machines, but what changes between the pinball machines? Everything. Pinball machines they are roguelikes. They are randomly generated with specific goals, always ever changing. So the main difference here, you could say Theater Magic is a very flowy pin, which means that every main goal, it's an easier pin. Every main shot will always safely feed your ball back to your paddles, except for this shot except for this shot. Whoops, this thing spins around. And you shoot for that and the ball bounces back down. So it's kind of dangerous to do, but that's the key shot in the game, so that's the risk you take. But it's a flowy machine. And the goals of this are shoot the box a bunch, sink a ball inside the box when it opens up, then start game modes. Each of these little game modes ask you to do something specific over and over and over again. It could be something as like a tiger saw, this thing, tiger saw. So if you light up tiger saw, and this is random. So if you sink this in here, you light up tiger saw, it's going to ask you to hit the captive ball at tiger saw repeatedly within a time limit. And you can get exponentially larger scores from doing that, possibly completing that. So that's one of the goals. The secondary goal is to light up raised trap door by shooting this shot. Feeds it back in here, opens up a secret hatch. There's like a little trap door that pops up, and then you sink the ball inside here, and it gives you other modes to go for. And then there is theater, which is this lane over here. Shooting it up this way will spell out theater, which is lit up down here, theater. And then there's the clock over here. You shoot that a bunch, and you can try to get to Midnight Madness, which is at 12. So every time you do it, it goes up by an hour. And those are the main goals of the game. You're trying to do them with, 3 to 4 balls over the whole thing. And with each of those has a little mini game mode. So like if you do, I don't know what the wizard mode is for completing theater, but it's something called grand finale. And I've never done it because I've never gotten to that point. But there's a big old crazy game mode there. And then there's, if you can get to midnight on the clock, it'll do Midnight Madness, which is a mini wizard mode that I've done before, which is really cool. And theater mode just unlocks the box, and you have like one shot to hit within a certain amount of time. So this is a flowy machine that has multiple goals. This is a shoot the shots machine, so it randomizes itself. It lights up a specific shot or 2 shots. You have to shoot those shots. If you clear those shots, it goes to the next raft. So the raft goes all the way up. And then if you can get up all the way to Wet Willies, there's a wizard mode there, which I've not done. This is a very hard machine. And then there's a secondary ball lock, which has these mini modes inside here. You can see like light extra ball, advanced raft, man overboard. These are like mini games that you get from shooting Whirlpool. A wizard mode in pinball is a crazy final mode. It's like a kind of like a grand finale. It's different for every game that you play. Usually it means there's a multi-ball mode in there somewhere. It'll usually shoot out a bunch of different modes. I'll skip over to Twilight Zone and I'll tell you how the wizard mode for this works. Twilight's a very complicated machine. There's a lot going on here. But in the wizard mode, in order to get to the wizard mode, you have to not complete, but at least activate and start each of these mini game modes all the way around. And these are all have different goals. And if you've done them all, and there's quite a lot, it lights up the doorknob. And then if you sink it in the scoop here, it'll activate the wizard mode. This is fucking Ricky Berwick. What does he want? Well, we'll see if that happens. But the wizard mode for this, basically it unloads all the balls in here and it lights up all of these different, they're these little greed targets, 5 million targets. It's literally called greed. It's greed mode. All these targets get lit up and you can't die. It gives you infinite lives for a certain number of seconds, and you're just trying to rack up the biggest score you possibly can in the zone. And that's what the wizard mode is for that. But it's different for each game, and each game usually will always have a multi-ball mode, which is a 3-ball at once mode that has a specific goal in mind. This game has a 2-ball multi-ball mode called Whirlpool mode, which you have to keep sinking into the whirlpool as many times as you can, which involves shooting it back up to this top area here and then sinking it in. And it has Whitewater multi-ball mode, which is a 3-ball multi-ball mode that you get jackpots from sinking it over here, which is called Insanity Falls. Yeah, so those of you who don't know, pinball is actually getting pretty big again. There are a lot of new pinball machines being made right now, and you can download this thing called Pinball Map. It's an app on your phone, and it'll scan your area, like your whole town, and it'll show you every single pinball machine that exists in every place.
No.
It's almost a guarantee that within an hour of where you are, there is some sort of pinball place that has at least 20 pinball machines. You'd be surprised how many there are. And you can go to this. Usually they'll it's a pay $15 or $20, and you can play as much as you want the whole day, or they'll have it in quarter mode where it costs $1 at this point, sometimes $2. To play a pinball machine. What's the Ghostbusters thing you see behind the pinball? Is it Slimer? The one over here? Let me run through these real quick. So Cactus Canyon is another, it's called a fan. I think it's a fan layout. Pretty similar to the other two, but remixed, different shots. The thing that makes it really fucking cool, and this is what I would be referencing if I ever do a Binding of Isaac pinball machine. There are, so if you can see, you see these little white rectangular things? Those are like pop-up targets. And in this game, you're killing bad Bart, you're killing bandits. And in the game, you'll have shootouts. It'll literally lock your ball. So it'll lock your ball here, and then it'll do a countdown, and then the guy will pop up, like one of these 4 guys will pop up, and then you got to shoot him within a few seconds. It's surprisingly cool. It's a really cool, innovative little pop-up target feature. It's an old idea. It's been around for forever, but it's a really cool addition to pinball, and that's what makes Cactus Canyon really unique. This also has a little video game mode where you play it up here. There's little guys that appear in the windows, and you scroll left and right to try to shoot them. It's kind of like an old school video game. And this little train here acts as a timer for different modes. There's a girl named Polly that you have to save to get free guys, and the train will be going to kill her. And if it reaches her, she dies, but you can try to save her by hitting certain shots that will stop the train. And then there's Goldmine multi-ball in there. It's a really cool, it's a newer pin, but it's a remake of an old pin. Okay, I've talked about Twilight Zone. This thing has a million fucking features. It's got a little magnetic play field up here. It's got a billion ramps. It's got multiple balls, one of which is a little white, what's it called? A ceramic ball. It's not metal. It's called the Power Ball, and it changes the game when it comes out. So you're trying to load in balls in here so you can cycle out the Power Ball so you can play with it. Lots of different places to shoot. There's lots of secrets. There's a little secret flipper here, and behind it, if you lift it up, there's another scoop underneath it, and you can shoot into that if you lift it. There's another one over here that shoots this way. There's a bunch of really wacky shit in here. You're trying to pick up hitchhikers to allow you to go and fight the Illuminati pyramid head. And there's a cool little clock here with all the Zodiac stuff on it. It's a really cool pin. Highly recommended. This is Monster Bash. This has got the best story. The best story of all the pinball machines here. The story is all the Universal monsters used to be in a band. And then the band, they retired. And it's your job to coax them out of retirement by beating them up. So they're all represented here somewhere, all the members of the band. You see the creature from the Black Lagoon. He's actually inside there. He lights up and wiggles around. I can kind of wiggle him, see? He's waving. If you shoot up here and lock the ball, it'll light up one of these. And if you do it all the way up to Pond Scum, then he comes out and he asks you to do a specific thing for his mode. If you're able to achieve his mode, you will get his saxophone. If you're not, he will still come out. So each of the modes brings them out. If you're able to complete their mode, you will get one of their instruments. If you're able to complete all of them, it will do Monsters of Rock, which is this like special wizard mode where a cool song plays and they come out and they play. They all become active. There's Dracula that comes out of his coffin. Frankenstein stands up. There's the bride, the mummy comes out of his tomb. The werewolf comes out from the background. And you fight them all at the same time, which is cool. And then if you're able to also get all their instruments, then it does Monsters of Rock. Or did I say that? One of them's Monster Bash mode, and the other one's Monsters of Rock. And that's the Super Wizard mode that I've never done, that Danielle has done twice. I have never done it. Nope. I have done the Wizard mode on Twilight Zone and Medieval Madness. We'll get there. Danielle has done the Wizard mode on Cactus Canyon and Monster Bash. So we're kind of tied with that. Danielle gets a higher score than me. She's kind of better than me. But we won't talk about that. Here's Indiana Jones. This is my least favorite pin that I own, but it's still good. This pin is different because it is a shooter. There's a lot of empty space here, as opposed to like the shots that you can shoot that are really close here, and then like the scoop that's right up there. This has a lot of like really far shots, like shooting all the way up here. So you can knock down the idol, and then there's the boulder that's inside there, and you got to hit the boulder with a certain amount of time. Or the shot here that goes all the way up here, all the way around here, over that rope bridge, and comes down here and locks it into this little mechanism that goes left and right. You lean left and right, and you can like weave your way through this and then fall down in the traps or whatever else. There's a bunch of idols you can knock down and lock your balls in here for a multi-ball mode. It's a good game. It's cool because it has a lot of minigame modes in it, which some people love and some people hate. They're literally mini reflex-driven minigames that are played up here on this dot matrix screen. So it'd be like minecart mode, where you like go left, right, or straight, and it speeds up. There's one where you do a shootout. There's one where you have to like follow along the chalice, kind of like the Skull game in Isaac, and choose the right one. Lots of cool stuff, lots of cool modes, but this would be the one that I trade out when the time comes because it doesn't get a lot of play. And there's this cool gun. You shoot the ball with the gun. Here's Medieval Madness. Medieval Madness is my third favorite pinball machine. This is, if you see this one, play this. It's a very easy to play, very fun, very funny, very goofy machine that is pretty straightforward. And it has a bunch of cool, unique things about it. So the main goal of this is there are 5, they are randomly chosen. There are 5 different castles with different kings inside. And each of them has their own little flavor to them. And in order to kill the king, you've got to shoot a ball up and hit the drawbridge. Then the drawbridge drops. Then there's a portcullis behind it. You hit the portcullis goes up. Then you shoot the ball inside, and the castle is destroyed. Now, they get exponentially harder as they go. So it may start out where you're just having to hit things once or twice, and then they eventually just like, oh, now hit the drawbridge. 3 times, portcullis 4 times to open it. And finally, you fight the King of Pain, which is the ultimate, and your points go up exponentially. Cool thing about this game is there are these things called madnesses. Every lane of the game, when you hit it 3 times, sometimes 4 times, so as you can see here, like 1, 2, 3, 4 revolting peasants. Each of these circles here, if you're able to get to them by just clearing these shots, will light up a madness. And the madnesses are collected here. So you can see there's like Joust, Madness, Catapult, Peasant, Damsel, Troll. Each of these madnesses will stack up. And you want to avoid, you try to basically complete each of these lanes multiple times and then cash it in at Merlin, and Merlin will start Medieval Madness. And it's basically a 3 to 4 ball, I think it's maybe just 3 ball multi-ball mode that the points go up exponentially depending on how many madnesses you have. So it's kind of like, it's a pretty cool mechanic that isn't really done in other pinball machines, which makes it really unique. The other cool thing is there are hidden trolls inside the playfield that pop up when you coax them out, and then you beat them up, and then they fall back into the playfield. And then there's Merlin also casts random spells for you, and you can coax them back by hitting these. And there's this like little catapult over here that you can slide stuff into. That's Medieval Madness. Super fucking cool. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that pinball machines are pretty incredible. They just assume it's just, just hit the ball around, they're all the same. They are absolutely not. They are quite cool. It's an expensive hobby to get into if you got your own, but it is very neat. All of these machines are from the 90s. This is my favorite era of pinball machine. So Cactus Canyon was originally put out in the 90s, but it was recently remade. Every other one of these machines is from the 90s. But if we go over here, I got the rug off of Amazon. It's just an arcade rug. You can see that there's Black Knight. So Black Knight looks a little different than these other machines. It's definitely got more wear and tear on it. This is an 80s machine. So it doesn't even have a dot matrix display. I don't even remember what these are called, but alpha numeric display maybe. So there's nothing spicy going on here. There's no animations playing or anything else like that. But this is a really cool, fast-paced game that has really, really great music. And I'll turn it on. Really good light show. I'll start it.
I am the Black Knight.
So, I've got my ball here. I want to send it up to this top area, so I'm going to play with one hand. I've already lost. This is hard. Okay, here we go. Damn, there's like a slight delay if I'm looking. I gotta look at it too. I want you to hear the music though. All right, we're doing the double knights challenge with one hand. Here we go. We failed it. I think high speed was actually before this, so it does have a similar loop mechanic. I actually think that this is much cooler, personally. God, I cannot. Anyway. Yeah, the song's fucking awesome. So that's Black Knight. Mechanically, it's got a kind of interesting focus on lighting up rollovers. Rollovers are these little metal things. Each time you roll over one, it would light up this thing. But the cool thing is you can control the lights with your paddles. So you can move the light around so you can see where it's going to fall